something that I personally am excited about. It is that time of year again in Louisiana when the sounds of bands, tailgates, and roaring crowds fill the air. Football season is underway and LPB is launching a new show to bring you highlights from every corner of the state. LPB sports correspondent Victor Howell and former New Orleans Saint Scott Shanle have more.
Well, this is a lot of fun to have this man here that we can talk about our new show, Game Notes. This is Scott Shanle, for those who have not met Scott before. Started his college career at Nebraska, playing with the Cornhuskers, into the NFL, and made his way to New Orleans, where you might know him as a Super Bowl champ. It's great to see you, Scott. How are you?
It's great. It's great being here. I'm looking forward to this fall.
Yeah, Game Notes is going to be a lot of fun. We've had the opportunity to work together for years covering the Saints, but really excited about this because of the chance to tell stories in this state. Look, you've played on the college level. You've played at the highest level in the NFL. You've seen the athletes that come from Louisiana, and they start in the college ranks.
Absolutely. You go back to my playing days, Reggie Wayne, Ed Reed. You can go down a long list of great Louisiana football players, and they're still here, and they just keep pumping them out. And it's a great tradition-rich state when it comes to the football programs at the high school level, the college level, and the NFL level.
And that's what's going to be so much fun, telling those stories here on Game Notes, as we will focus on the 11 major colleges in the 6 major conferences here in the state of Louisiana. Look, there's a lot of storylines. Let's start with the biggest one because of the biggest game they start the season with, and that's LSU. And that's because they're going to open up against Clemson, one of 3 top 10 matchups. And we know they've struggled in season openers. A lot of pressure this year on Brian Kelly.
There's a lot of pressure. I give LSU a lot of credit. There's not a lot of programs that go out and play these games, first of all. They don't go out and play the Clemson and the USC. So I give them credit for doing that. It is going to be the college game marked on a lot of people's calendars. They want to know where are these programs at in the college football landscape, because both these programs have high playoff hopes.
And of note, they haven't won a season opener in 5 years, so you're behind the 8 ball if you lose this. And before you get out of the month of September, you're playing a ranked Florida team at home and a ranked Ole Miss team on the road, so you can see where it could be tough sledding if you don't take care of business to kick things off.
There's no doubt about it. It's always important to start fast. You start fast in these games, it makes going and watching film a little easier, lifting weights a little easier. So you want to get out the gate starting fast, get that confidence up as a team. So it's like I said, it's a big game, and it has playoff expectations throughout college football.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's stay in Baton Rouge and go to the other side, north side of town on the Bluff, because the Southern Jaguars 1 year ago, they won the SWAC West. They won the Bayou Classic, which is huge for them. But then you got to play that SWAC championship game afterwards. They fell short to Jackson State. Terrence Graves now wants to turn things around so they can try to get over that hump.
Yeah, winning the West, getting to that conference championship game is always a good feeling. That's a lot of teams' goals, but you want to finish it. So they had an opportunity to finish it this year, and there's something about those powder blue accents in the uniforms. There's something about, it's football time and it's fall time when you see that powder blue accent.
Yeah, Southern Jaguars defense is going to be outstanding. They got to replace some people on offense, and we'll follow them all season long. Hey, let's go a couple of hours west down I-10 and stop in Lake Charles, because Heath Schroyer, the athletic director at McNeese State, he brought in Will Wade for basketball 2 years ago. We saw what Will did. 2 straight NCAA tournament appearances, won a tournament game this last year. Then he goes and hires Ayla Gazzardo from Southeastern for his women's team. Southland Conference champion, also going to the NCAA tournament. For football, he wanted the football program to return to what he called the standard. So he went out and hired the coach that set the standard. Matt Viator is back for his second stay in McNeese. What does that do for a program when you bring somebody back like Viator, who's the one that took them to Southland Conference tournaments and playoffs, and now he's back as the head coach?
I think it's important. Whenever you want to get back to being what you were, what's your identity? I think that's the big thing a lot of people look for when they bring guys back into the program who had success. You want your identity back. And for me, when I think of McNeese football, I think of toughness. Just smash mouth football, playing tough defense, and they want to get that identity back.
And I know you played in an NFL under a coach that talked about culture, and that's been one of Coach Viator's big thing about bringing the culture back and getting the players to accept that culture.
Yeah, as soon as you can get a locker room, really, it's not just a player, it's the entire locker room to buy into a culture. And for me, culture is the expectation is already set. A coach doesn't have to tell a locker room what to do. It doesn't have to tell a player what to do. That expectation is built into the locker room. So once you get that culture established, it's much easier to win games.
Tulane Green Wave had an outstanding season last year as we transitioned down to New Orleans, but they ended a little soft. You lost to Memphis, and then they lost in the championship game to Army, and then they lost in the bowl game as well. But John Summerall has things going, and Tulane, it wasn't all that long ago. They were 2-10, like 4 years ago. Now they are a team outside of the power conferences, Scott, that is being named as one of those teams that will make the playoffs. That's a lot of expectations. Things have changed in downtown New Orleans.
Yeah, absolutely. Winning creates expectations, and that's a good position to be in. Not many returning starters, but there's an expectation around the Tulane program that it's about winning, that you can win. And you can go back, and a lot of people point to that USC game a couple years ago. That was kind of a turning point for the national landscape, looking at Tulane football like these guys are a player in the grand landscape of college football playoff.
So many storylines to talk about. Frank Selfo, what he's doing at Southeastern going into year 8. Northwestern State looking to crack the win column for the first time in 2 years, but they have momentum and all the players in place. And even up in North Louisiana, Sonny Cumbie and Louisiana Tech, a lot of experience coming back for the Bulldogs, but even the bigger news, they're getting ready to say bye-bye to their conference. They're in Conference USA, but as we heard over the summer, they're now headed to the Sun Belt Conference, which brings them back home for rivalries as well.
A lot of conference realignment in college football at every different level, every different landscape. You always want to leave on a high note. You always want to go out the conference you were playing in and say, you're going to miss us when we're gone. So Conference USA is a big year for the Bulldogs. They want to exit on a high note, just like a lot of teams would.
We will see what they can do. As you can see, we have lots to talk about here. That's a shorter version, but you can join us for Game Notes. We'll be doing it all season long. Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. for Game Notes, and then Sunday nights we will wrap things up with post-game notes. 6 p.m., replaying again at 10 p.m., and it's all right here on LPB. Scott, it's great having you on board. Look forward to all season long.
Absolutely. It's going to be a lot of fun, Vic.
You bet. We'll see you there. Kick off with us on Game Notes.